Back to Just the News AM. I'm Carrie, Sheffield, and so glad you're with us. Well, let's hop across the pond over to London, and joining me is Flint Bedrock. He's a singer and songwriter, and he's got a new single called Turnaround available on Apple Music. Good morning.
Good morning, Carrie. How are you?
Doing well. So, Flint, you're at this intersection of conservative ideas and music and entertainment. And generally speaking, we know in Hollywood, and I would assume in the British entertainment complex as well, it leans very hard to the left. So how did you develop your ideology and worldview, and how do you fit into that community there?
I think it's a very tricky thing to try and navigate, like you're saying, having fairly conservative views and also trying to be an artist in a very liberal dominated space. But I think if you want to do something, you're always going to have, find a way to do it. I'm one of those people who simply will not be silenced, and I refuse to sort of follow trends. I understand it would be easier for me to perhaps be leaning on the leftist sort of liberal side. It would potentially get me a little bit further. But I intend to stay true to my beliefs. I very much believe in the Christian way of life. There's a lot of things that I don't particularly agree with what's happening in the world today, which is being sold as being progressive. But I think it's just a way of putting people in boxes, pitting them against each other. It's very destructive, I think. So I've always been this way. I've just not had a platform. And perhaps I would go as far as to say there's a lot of people who actually think the way I think. They just don't perhaps feel they can come out.
And I want to put up a tweet on the screen for our viewers that you put out about a freedom pass, and you responded to a news article saying the Britons who test negative for COVID are set to receive a, quote, freedom pass. And you said if we entertain this, you can kiss goodbye to real freedom. So will you be taking a vaccine?
Well, that's a difficult question because I don't want to seem to be advocating what might be considered the wrong position. But I'm very suspicious of the whole thing, to be quite honest. I don't believe I will. If I have a choice not to, I won't be doing it. But it all depends, because we could end up in a situation where we're actually being forced to do it. You won't be able to go out in certain places if you don't have it. These are all the concerns that people have around the world. I mean, we've heard recently, I think it was the CEO of Qantas, I believe, who was mentioning the fact that you might need a vaccine sort of pass to be able to get on a plane. So all of these things are very concerning. The issue with the freedom pass, I mean, look, are we going back to slavery times when people needed their freedom papers to be able to walk about? So, yeah, I'm completely against that.
All right, Flint Bedrock, we appreciate your perspective. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And we're going to be right back. Stay with us.